Right now, I want to talk about the VA OTC, that stands for one-time close, new construction loan. My name is Drew Smith. I'm a licensed loan officer and I specialize in VA loans. So right now, I want to go over the process, application, the builder, the land, and then answer some frequently asked questions. So hopefully this will help you if you're looking at the VA one-time close new construction loan. So first, let's start with the application. Just like any other loan, don't overcomplicate this. It's the same exact application. So you fill that out. We're going to be looking at your personal information, 2 years of income and rental history, W-2s and tax returns depending on how you're paid. If you're self-employed, we might need different documents to verify income. The only difference here really is that there is a minimum credit score requirement. So I can do manual underwrite VA loans where we do not require a minimum credit score. But for our new construction loans, there is a minimum 620 credit score requirement. And that could actually be a little bit higher depending on the price of the home, but at least a 620 minimum credit score. Next, we're going to be looking at the builder, right? Who's going to build this home? And the land. Where is this home going to be built? So first, let's talk about the builder and some things that you need to know there. So the builder will need to be registered with the VA, and that can be done very easily. They basically get a packet of information and then submit that back with a few documents, and they can get registered really quickly. It's a streamlined process. They do this all the time. Any big reputable builder will not have any problems getting registered. Next, we're going to be looking at the land. Where is this going to be built? So there are a couple different things with the land. You can already own the land, you can buy the land, or you can be gifted the land. Now, if you buy the land, that can all be wrapped up in this purchase at closing. So it's still a one-time close even if you're buying the land. So how that would work is that you basically find a piece of property that you like, you find a builder that you like, you get the contract, everything settled with the builder, and you finalize, you decide what home you want them to build for you, and you get the contract for that. You put in a contract with a realtor on a piece of land just like you would a home. So you get that contract for the land, you put those two things together, you submit that to me in this example as your loan officer, and we submit that through processing and underwriting just like an existing home. So really you just need one extra contract for the land. So going back to the land, if it's gifted to you, that's great. And then if you already own it, that's great as well. A couple things here with it though is that it can't be more than 100 acres and it can't cost more than $150,000 if you're doing it at purchase. So if you're purchasing it for the first time, it cannot cost more than $150,000. A couple other things with that, how the land is titled has to match the structure of the loan. So if that loan that land is owned by, let's say John in this case, then John has to be on that loan. So title for the land has to match the structure of the loan. If John and Mary own that land, then John and Mary have to be on the loan together. So it can't just be John on the loan if John and Mary own the land together. You can mix and match that with any name and situation that you want. Just know that the structure of the loan and the title of the land have to mirror and match each other. Okay? And that's really it as far as the high level overview stuff. It is that simple. You find the builder that you want to make this home for you. You find the land where you want to have it built. You get contracts for all of those, submit it, and it cruises through underwriting just like everything else. But now let's talk about some of the more subtle nuances and things you can and can't do. The first thing I want to talk about is the builder and the general contractor. So it does have to have a general contractor on it. Typically that's going to be the manufacturer or the builder. The buyer cannot be involved in that whatsoever. So if you're thinking you want to be hands-on and actually get a hammer and get out there and get to work on this, you can't do that, and it can't be any interested party as well, so you can't be hiring a bunch of friends and family members to do this for you either. It's all got to be third party, separate from the buyer. There can't be any self-interest in this, okay? Now, some other things that we need to know, there are some loan limits. So a VA loan, if you have Tier 1 unencumbered entitlement, there is no loan limit. You can borrow as much as you can qualify for. As long as you can pay that monthly payment and you can afford it, there is no loan limit on a VA loan. But with the new construction, we're capped at $1.5 million. Types of homes, we're looking at manufactured, modular, and site-built. These custom homes, so we can't do pole barns or barn dominiums or these specialty homes that are, I've seen them, they're like these kits. They put them together. It's basically 4 walls and a roof. They ship them out, and then you have to put them together on the property. We can't do those specialty type products. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't be a custom home, that you've really decided how you want it to be built, but it's got to be your more traditional manufactured, modular, or site-built home. You know, barn dominiums were very trendy for a while, and I kept telling people that we couldn't do those. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have an open floor concept that mirrors that kind of style, but it just can't be 4 walls with basically a living quarters on top of it, some of that specialty stuff. It can only be 1 unit, so we can't do a multi-unit property. Has to be the primary residence, so you do have to be living in the property. You can't build it as an investment property or a rental at the offset. Now, if you built this as your primary residence, you moved into it, you lived there for a couple of years, and then you want to go ahead and turn it into an investment property, that's totally different. But at the time of closing and building, it does have to be your primary residence. Another thing is that you can do 100% financing with this, just like a traditional VA loan. So what that means is that there's no down payment required, but a common misconception is that there's no money out of pocket required. So you've got 2 separate things here with the loan. You've got closing costs and you've got down payment. You don't need a down payment with this product, but you are still going to have closing costs, so there still is going to be money out of pocket required. Now, sometimes there are ways that we can structure the loan where those are significantly reduced, or in some cases, there are no closing costs, but that's not guaranteed. Traditionally, on our new construction loans, there is more money out of pocket required just because it's more custom and there's more required of them than your existing properties. So it's just case by case. You would need to check with your builder first. Some builders do require a deposit, which is totally separate from financing and lending from the lender. They would require a deposit because they're going to start doing things like ordering materials and getting people started on building this home for you, so they might require a deposit before they even get started on that stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. You know, it's always something to look into, but there's no guaranteed route that even though you can do 100% financing, that there's not going to be money out of pocket required on a new construction. So again, going over it, the approval process is just like a traditional VA loan. Don't overcomplicate it. Fill out the application and start the process there. If you have any questions, feel free to send those to me or put them in the comments. I will address them individually as they come in. And then if you have more questions about VA loans and the qualification process, I suggest that you check out this video next.